the earth. The water's horizontal, so's the surface of the earth.
Okay.
It's true. Called to Islam.
Yes.
So you could
Please,
think
can
about
you
it
tell
like
me?
a giant lake with islands sticking out, which would be like the continents. So land masses aren't flat; they're elevated from the flat
Slowly.
water. But the overall system, the majority of it is water, which is flat and level.
Mhm. So how does the moon rotate? Does the moon actually rotate around the Earth, and how does, if it is, how
Yeah,
does
it's
it do
setting
it?
its courses. It's setting its courses, bro. Just like it says in the scriptures. The sun, the moon, the stars are put in their courses, yeah? This is what it says.
Guys, let me ask
You
him
understand?
one thing.
No, guy,
Please.
hold on. No, stop. Do you understand that? The moon, the sun, the luminaries.
Yeah, I get what you mean. They
set in
all
their
have their
courses.
own own rotations,
Yeah, they're putting their courses. That's it.
Yeah, I get that. So it's like the Earth being flat doesn't change that idea. So the moon still rotates
No.
around the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What you see is, with flat Earth, what you see is what you get. The sun, moon, and stars are moving. The Earth is not.
So do
The
we?
Earth is
Okay.
observably
Oh, so
flat.
the sun rotates around the Earth like the moon does. That's what you guys don't believe.
Just like you observe. You see the sun move in the same way that you see the moon.
Yeah, visually, yeah.
Yeah, in reality, that's what that means. But they've told you a story otherwise. They've said, hey, it looks like it's moving, but that's not what's actually happening. So they've essentially come up with this story whereby human beings are encouraged to disregard observable reality in favor of a story given to them by essentially the US government, the Catholic Church, and a handful of other organizations.
Yeah, why? But the
They're
Catholic, that
asking,
kind of
why would they
derails the
lie?
Catholic Church, though, because the
Why would they
Catholic Church
lie?
was kind of flat Earth,
Well, it's not.
Interesting. Sorry, Cyclone. Your microphone's low, buddy. I didn't realise you were still talking. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's more complicated than that. It's not just like the Catholic Church was flat Earth. Everyone was flat Earth. Every single
So what
culture
happened,
in
bro?
human history. What happened? Well, the Catholic Church basically picked up this old idea from Pythagoras, where they worshipped the sphere as a sacred shape. It was like an occult philosophy, and they decided, well, the sphere is the perfect shape, and the perfect creator, God, would have created the perfect Earth in the perfect shape. Therefore, the Earth must be a ball. That's where this reasoning came from in the beginning, and then the Catholic Church picked it up back in the day and asked Copernicus to come up with a heliocentric calendar whereby the sun is no longer going around the Earth, and the Earth is now going around the sun. The Catholic Church pushed that
if
in
you
the
think about
1600s.
it, bro, Catholicism is debunked by the flat Earth, bro.
No,
you cannot.
It's not like that.
I mean, it does, because it proves disproves the church infallibility,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna jump.
Proofs. The special flat that we have. It's so simple. Everything.
Hold on, Johnny, stop it. Try again.
I can tell you how this.
So he can try again, and I cannot ask simple question. Beautiful.
Okay, you can ask questions, dude. We were answering them. Jedi was trying to get in.
Yeah. I wish to ask this call to Islam. Dude, did you read the book?
Which book?
The holy book of Quran and Karim.
Of course, I've read the Quran several times, yeah.
How many ayah talking about this shape of the ground?
I think there's about 5 verses in the Quran that talk about two about it being like the earth being spread out, right? One about talking about spread out like a carpet, and then there's also verses that talk about rotation and about other things. But
I will send you 24 ayah. 24.
I know what you're talking about, bro. But Ibn Taymiyyah, he knows how these verses do not explicitly mean that the earth is flat, just like that it's observably flat.
Oh, Ibn Taymiyyah, which book? There is 9 books of Ibn Taymiyyah. Which book?
No, it's way more books.
Hold on, guys. You guys,
books.
listen. You guys, if you want to go into the Quranic discussion, you can go into another channel. We're fine with it. But the point is,
let's not talk about
we're talking about science. We're talking about observation and measurement, which does actually line up with the Quran and the Bible and the Torah, which all the Earth as flat and motionless.
Exactly.
Okay, bro. Thank you very much. So you pointed out, and yes, it can line up with the Bible and the Quran also. But
I mean, there's some Muslims who hold the view that the Earth is flat. That's not a.
Do you know you are interrupting me in the middle of the
I
sentence?
apologize, young man.
Thank you.
Do not interrupt him.
In the middle of the sentence, actually talking is very rude. But anyways, but I'm trying to say that we are not using any beliefs. We are talking about just measurement, and we're just pointing out reality of life that we have around us. We're not talking about anything else. Okay.
Yeah, you Muslim guys should be able to figure it out quick, right? I mean, this whole globe thing, especially nowadays, is essentially stemming from the U.S. government, NASA, telling you, hey, we're going into space and we're seeing a ball. I don't know if I would be so quick to trust the U.S. government spaceless
But
story.
why are you talking about NASA? Because
Did they actually go to space though?
why are you
No.
talking about
No.
what you know about?
It's
Why are
okay.
you talking about all of these saviors?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
don't give them a word of minutes. Don't give them words of
Mumble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're mumbling, bro. Like,
we're gonna have to.
Well, and technically, yes, cyberspace.
what is cyberspace?
Well, hold on, no, don't fucking go off into cyberspace. Holy shit. Yeah,
Oh,
so
cyberspace, guys, come on.
dude, stop. You asked the question: is there space? Are they going to space? No. Outer space, as they've shown us on TV and in the textbooks, does not
Mhm.
exist.
So there's like nothing up, or like, okay, so what is there like? So there's not reachable, or what is up with that?
Is what reachable?
Like for instance, the moon, is it reachable?
I doubt it.
Like, so what is there between us?
It's a good point. Sorry, Cyclone. What's between us? In your idea, what's between and the moon?
Void. It's like absence of anything. Maybe
Yeah.
with some particles of floating garbage in there, but
Yeah.
it's not really something.
A lot of space. So a lot
A
of
whole
space.
bunch of
between-
space. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of space between the particles. See, this is where we have the contention, right? We don't know what is between us and the moon. We don't know what the moon is. We don't know how far away it is. We don't even really know if it's a physical object. But the claim that the moon is in this void leaves us with some fundamental problems. First problem is this. We're breathing gas pressure. Oxygen and nitrogen, we're breathing the air. And that air that we're breathing is not contained from the vacuum, the void that the moon's in. There's no separating barrier. According to natural laws, second law of thermodynamics, the gas should fill the space. The entropy should increase. The gas should become more diffuse, spread out, as it always does. That's why it's a natural law. So the gas we're breathing should be dispersing into the space. Second problem is the gas that we're breathing is under pressure. The definition of gas pressure is the force that the gas exerts upon the walls of its container. That's a physical boundary for gas to press against. If there's no physical boundary, which we're told the Earth is an open system, then we wouldn't achieve pressure. The gas has got nothing to press against and would continue to expand. So, no, we don't believe in the vacuum of space, and people have gone to the moon in the vacuum of space through the void, because the void bit, if it's uncontained from our atmosphere, can't exist like that.
So like, there's also no like varying levels of gravity.
No.
Like-
so what he's saying
Like
is
one
you're
still.
in a contained system. We're in a container.
Yeah, I get it. It's like a closed bubble.
Yeah, this is why in all the scriptures it describes the sky as being like a ceiling, a solid, a tent to dwell in,
Yeah,
because we're in a
but
contained environment.
just so like a question. So there's like no level, like varying levels of gravity. How high you go up to the roof of the so-called ceiling?
Do you mean a pressure gradient?
I guess so. Yeah, like
Yeah,
less
we have a
pressure,
pressure
less
gradient.
resistance.
Yeah, we have a pressure gradient, which you can only have in a contained system. And it doesn't have anything to do with this notion of gravity. This notion of gravity that they teach us is only really told to cement this globe idea. They basically have to have a mechanism where you could be attached to the side of a spinning ball without flying off. So they have to give you this story that you're being pulled into the center of this giant ball. But the only evidence they offer for that is, well, drop a rock. But that could easily just be happening on a flat surface, right? It doesn't tell you that the Earth is a ball.
So would you guys also believe it's physically impossible for the Earth to be round? Let's say, right, this
Yeah,
one is
measures
flat,
flat.
right?
Yeah, it measures
Let's
flat.
say, yeah, but let's say this one is flat, right? Could there be another one that is round?
And that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with reality. right? And what we can know about this reality that we're in.
Yeah. So
speculating about what's going
I'll
on.
rephrase it then. Like, so is this Earth physically impossible to be round?
Well, it measures flat, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys. This was enlightening. But I'm gonna go back to other chat. I'll maybe come back one time. Have a good day,
come
guys.
back. Peace, brother.
So long.
Yeah.
Happy Eid.
Well, Sulfur has some questions.
Brilliant.
He's pretty retarded. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh, well, all he has is questions.
Was that the guy that said maths isn't science, but that doesn't mean science isn't maths? I love that.
I think that was his buddy. His boyfriend.
Yeah, that was Grizzly, right? His grizzly gruff guy that's like his bodyguard.
Oh, wow.
That was the
Yeah,
guy he wanted to speak from. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, he took him off that
He's like, please,
leash.
please let Grizzly speak, and then he said that shit. Wow.
I could spend weeks trying to come up with something so stupidly effective and catchy, and it just pours out of them.
So now he's thinking that you seeing the top of the table is actually you seeing the top of the table from underneath the table. Like, this is crazy stuff. It's like, do you want to make an argument here? Sulfur, come say something.
Seems to just think that chanting a claim over and over again is an argument.
Yeah, it is an argument when it's a correct answer.
He went along with that.
When it's chanted correctly, it is an
No,
Yeah,
argument.
when it's charted correctly, mate. It is.
No, it's
It is a chant, and it is correct because I'm chanting it, obviously.
Because I'm chanting it with actual evidence.
That's hilarious. I was mocking him, and then he agreed with the mockery.
What evidence? Mate, show
Sulfur.
the VC chat.
Sulfur, you didn't put up any evidence. I mean, I just responded to you just because I'm bored. So like
Didn't put up any
different
evidence?
Yes,
What
I did.
are you? What in God's name, bro? Scroll up to this part. I put in
Hey,
so
bro,
much
you
evidence.
didn't put up any. All right. Well, this is an audio show, so you need to all.
Yo, we all go like
verbalize
one
your
at a
argument.
time, bro. One at a time.
Verbalize your argument.
Right, I just want to inform you, claims are
Holy
not
fuck, your microphone.
quiet evidence.
Bro, I cannot understand you at all. Your
Your
mic,
your mic
actually dissipates.
Then maybe stop fucking talking, Sulfur.
It's not my microphone. Oh, my face.
Sulfur, stop being a dweeb and verbalize your argument if you're going to talk.
The Earth is round. That's my argument.
That's not an argument. That's a claim. All right. What's
The
your
Earth
evidence?
is round because when a ship in the distance, right? If it would be because of fog, if a ship goes onto the distance.
Oh, so now it's because of fog.
Oh, he's just making a claim.
Brother, are you listening to me? I'm saying if it was because of fog, the ship would fade out and it wouldn't disappear bottom up. It only disappears bottom up because the Earth is round.
Oh,
okay, well, that's a claim. So you made a claim and then you backed it with another claim. So can you back that claim now?
Use your eyesight. Look at recordings.
It's a globe. I know because it's a globe because a globe causes globe.
Use your eyesight. So
use your eyesight. What? You guys think that's true science? Pure science. Use your eyes. Use natural science.
Wow. You understand if we're going to use our eyesight, then perspective most definitely exists. And things reduce in angular size with distance, don't they? They get smaller.
Even if you were viewing it with a camera on a perfectly straight angle, you would still see the ship disappearing bottom up. You would.
But
even from the top angle.
Okay, my God, I get you. I just want you to admit that perspective is going to exist before we can continue along the conversation and your claims. Perspective exists, right? Things reduce in angular size with distance. Yes. Yes.
Oh, a second. I'm just looking at what someone sent here.
Oh, if you're not going to fuck
the chat.
What's up?
So fucking annoying.
You can
Jedi, you wanna
Quantum
finish it
Racer.
up?
You can very, very clearly see there's fog in that.
So if you're saying the ships are going over a curve.
Quantum Racer, in that GIF you
There's
sent, the
fog in
person is
between
just
your
moving the
ears.
camera up.
There's fog in between your ears, you fucking clown. Shut the fuck up and answer Cyclone and Jetty's claim.
I'm answering a lot of people's claims.
Just pick one, Jetty and Cyclone.
I'm
Don't pay
Quantum
attention to
Racer.
chat clues, Sniffer. You got enough problems.
As that guy went and see if I could keep going or if it stops. Because what frustrated me with that video is that his video only showed the ground. I wanted it to show what was on the other side, and basically I just want to recreate that and see the top.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. It would be interesting to see another amateur rocket go to the same altitude, because that did seem like a strange phenomena for that rocket.
Yeah. It literally just stopped, like, in its tracks, as if... And it's weird, because it's like, if it hit something hard, I don't think it would stop. Like, exactly. So it was, like, almost as if it hit, like, some type of jelly.
Yeah, which is bizarre, because it's like, yeah, if it was anything kind of solid, you would expect it to smash to pieces, and if it was anything kind of viscous, you would expect that it would gradually slow.
Right,
but it just comes to, like, an immediate arrest.
It made no sense to me.
They said it was something like a D-spin gyro. Like that. I can't remember what it was. They said some people were saying there was some technology that was being used that would make this rocket just come to a dead stop. And I don't know.
But what kind of technology is that?
Well, I don't know. I don't recall the details of. I don't remember ever seeing anything substantiated on that. I just remember that being
Shaggy, you're backfeeding, Shaggy.
What? Because you believe the Earth isn't moving?
No, it's not measured to move.
We're on it, so it's...
Okay, so not measured to move then.
For us, because we're not on another planet to observe it.
Yeah, we don't leave the Earth and the Earth starts spinning underneath us, do we?
No, we're fixed. No, we're fixed on it.
Yeah, good. And even when we're in the atmosphere, for example, in an aeroplane, the Earth isn't spinning underneath us, is it?
Well, no, because all the particles would also be moving with the Earth as it's moving, so it'd move everything with it until you leave its atmosphere.
Cool.
You wouldn't have that perspective of it spinning.
Gotcha. Do you remember earlier we were talking about the Coriolis? Now, the Coriolis is that. That would be two reference frames, one in motion, one not in motion, one inertial, one non-inertial. For example, the Earth spinning underneath the atmosphere. You spinning on a roundabout, and me and, say, Creation Bear throwing a ball over the roundabout straight between us, knowing that the path of the ball that we're throwing straight between us is going straight, but you underneath the ball on the rotating roundabout observe an apparent deflection of the ball that's actually going straight. This is what the Coriolis force is, or sorry, Coriolis effect is. So when you leave the surface of the Earth, if it was rotating, then whatever wasn't attached to the surface of the Earth would appear to drift for those on the surface of the Earth at 15 degrees an hour, which it doesn't.
So you're saying if the Earth was spinning and you threw a ball up in the air, the ball would move because the Earth's moving away from the ball?
Okay, so let's put it like this. So if I was in a helicopter or I had a drone and it was hovering and the Earth was rotating underneath it, I would change my location over time because the Earth will be rotating underneath the hovering drone or helicopter, understanding that hovering means no acceleration or vector.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't observe this.
That happens on other planets, does it?
No. We're not talking about other planets. We're talking about
I thought this
one
was in reference to us being different to other planets, that's all. Sorry, my fault.
Okay, so there's no measured rotation of the Earth. within this example of 2 reference frames and Coriolis, we don't observe the Coriolis which we would associate with something that was moving.
So you don't believe there is any possibility that the Earth could be round?
It's not measured to be curving, so no.
So, what would be your personal opinion on the shape of the Earth?
I don't have an opinion on the shape of the Earth. I wouldn't speculate on the shape of the Earth. A shape being what, like a square or a circle or a cube or
That's to
something.
hold a form of shape, right?
Yeah, but when I say flat, or to be more specific, horizontal, that's not a shape, is it? Horizontal is an orientation, perpendicular to vertical.
Yeah, but it has to hold boundaries. So if it's a shape, you need to, its surface area would eventually loop back on itself, which
its
would
surface
be
area
true.
would eventually. The surface area would eventually loop back on itself.
So, like, you'd eventually get back to the same point,
Well,
even if it was a complete plane, unless it's unlimited, you could be able to follow that plane round down underneath itself and then back up to where you started.
I mean, if you want to say it's a really big coin with 2 sides, maybe, but yeah, I don't even think that's.
So you
what
don't
the
have
Earth
any
is.
theory to what shape the Earth is, but it's not round.
No, this is what I'm trying to point out to you. No, because I haven't been to any rotation of the Earth, a corner, a vertices. I haven't been to any of these things. The only thing that we can do is measure the surface of mean sea level, and water, surprisingly, is horizontal on the surface.
Right.
Flat isn't a claim, mate.
All right, mate. Well, thank you for your opinion.
Oh yeah, no, you're more than welcome, mate. Any other questions you got, you're always welcome to come back.
Of course, I'm sort of here for the chat, but there doesn't seem to be no chat at the moment.
Yeah, it happens from time to time, buddy. People sometimes come in mostly to listen. They like listening to decent conversations. Conversations you get sparked by a question. So we always invite people to ask questions if they've got them.
Yeah, I think it's time to go and fucking pick on some gay people with a Palestine flag in their bio. Right, old
Before
boys.
you go,
Yeah.
Can I ask you a provocative question?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Of course you can.
Okay. What makes you think Earth is a planet?
What makes me think Earth is a planet? I don't know, man. I'm in my early 20s. I've always been taught the Earth is a planet. I think it's the most logical thing, as I think probably a lot of people do. But I know you boys might see me as a sheep or conforming to it. I don't know what the fuck you think of people that think the Earth is round. If you genuinely believe it's flat, I mean, but yeah, no, I
get it. Yeah,
my
I
understanding and thought of space is that there's other planets. Space is infinite. There's planets and stars and galaxies and that, and we're just one of many.
Yep. Yeah,
I don't see why we'd
Yep.
be so different.
I'd put it to you that Earth is not a planet, and planets are not what you've been taught.
Yeah. Maybe, but who cares? We're dead in 70 years anyway. It's a fraction of time. Right, old boss. It's good talking to you.
Have a good
Yeah,
one, man.
keep in
Take care.
mind that you did concede a lot of points, and you admitted that your belief around the globe was purely based on faith, and you had no real evidence to combat any of these geometric arguments that are being made here. So yeah, take with that sort of, with what you will. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
All right, Rich Evans, time the cowboy to fuck up. There's higher pressure near the surface of the earth.
You think about that.
Time to boot scoot, Matthew. I'm in here. Get the fuck.
Don't have resistance of some sort. Even helium has sorts of resistance, even though it escapes up in the air and goes away. Somewhere it meets a resistant point. That's just what it is, man.
That's my picture.
Well, the Globers will claim if it's just based on perspective, then you should be able to see the whole island, right?
I definitely remember when they made fun of flat Earth in school, though. Somewhere
Yeah?
like in second or first grade.
Oh, they started
Right.
them off early. Like, everybody laugh.
Just so you know, even the AI that they have now, like on Facebook, will make fun of flat Earth.
That's kind of
It's
interesting.
really interesting.
It's like when they have to,
yeah.
when they have to accidentally, when like a narrative has to be repeated and like kind of like ridiculed or lambasted and marginalized repeatedly. Like,
Claw, are you
like
talking to anybody?
it's almost like they're putting money into like, you know, a certain narrative.
Yeah, that's arguably like if it's Facebook's AI or Google's AI or whatever particular
Whoever programmed it.
Not only that, but they train it on their own data sets, right? Facebook's massive enough; they have so much shit in and on Facebook for a decade or more, right? There has been people making fun of it, right? So no shit. Of course, the computer's gonna think it.
Do you remember the precursors to like a Deep Dream and shit?
No.
Deep Dream was like when they run the images or video through that filter, and it had all of Google's image data in it. So like you'd see like animal faces and stuff, like fractally, like it would turn like normal pictures like horrifying.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Well, was it Deep Dream?
Yeah, Deep Dream. That was some
Okay.
interesting shit. It was like you made you think you were on acid without even being on drugs.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, the really.
You know what else can do that, right? This was another recent discovery. If you flash two faces that are like different faces, but they're spaced apart about, you know, the regular space for viewing something on a piece of paper or whatever.
Mhm.
If you continually flash different faces, after about 10 seconds of defocused, like looking at it,
Oh,
they'll all start to look like they have horrible kinds of Down syndrome, like they'll go kind of Picasso face.
Yeah.
And if you focus on them, they'll look normal again. But you do it with like the world's most beautiful celebrities, and it looks like getting all of the village idiots from all the world and putting them in one place,
like
which
your
is kind
brain
of just like
starts,
taking their makeup off. But you know, it's a weird effect. Yeah.
Well, isn't that like your brain
If the
kind of
world's
like
flat, how come we haven't seen a photo of it from outer space?
Because there is no outer
Jews,
space
man.
vacuum.
But
What do
we've
you
seen,
think?
we've seen the
Really?
Earth from outer space in terms of it being a globe.
You have?
So,
What do you mean by
yeah, I
we?
have. I have.
You've gone to space?
I
Astral
have.
projection, bro.
You have.
Yeah.
You never went.
How did you go to space?
You never went to space.
I did
wanna
it
hear
via VR. There's like a VR simulation
Oh, no,
where you.
please.
Oh, so you
it's
didn't
funded
go
by
to the
NASA.
outer space
It's
vacuum.
actually
It doesn't
like it's
exist.
actually like basically
You
what
never
happened was
went to space.
they
You
sent
never
a rocket out and they put a camera on
You got to get used to this.
Man,
This
don't
is going to
take your
become
rocket out though. You
commonplace
can't do that. It
soon.
violates TOS.
Pardon?
Don't take your rocket out. It violates TOS.
Oh no, I won't take my rocket out.
Thank you. Save it for later.
You never went to space. That never.
I
happened.
never went to
You-
space. That's okay. I guess that's true.
Oh, but with the VR, the VR is the
VR
whole
told me it was
experience.
there.
But I saw someone go to space.
Yeah, they went there. Confirmed.
It's going to become more commonplace. Like people are going to be going to other planets through their VR, experiencing the
If you plug
galaxy
in
with
mods, you guys are
VR.
gonna start looking really
The
stupid.
first time I tried like fucking VR through like the pass through like the computer, like using all the power from it, it was like the shit was scary.
I saw
Plug
Milli
into the
Vanilli.
Matrix.
I saw Milli Vanilli in concert, and guess what? They were fake.
Over you, I know I will. Wait, that's not really.
I saw them on TV too. They have
He
music
danced, like,
videos.
that steppy dance fucking thing. He's walking, man.
Yeah, the Earth's a globe. Like, how would NASA hide it? Like, how
Just
how
like
you
Milli
expecting so
Vanilli.
many people
But-
to hide it?
Milli
But-
Vanilli, same
What do you
thing.
mean, like the moon landing?
Not
Or
the
just
moon
flat
landing,
Earth?
as in like the Earth's a
Flat Earth.
globe. Like it's science.
Yeah.
It's just science and
GPS,
facts.
GPS wouldn't work.
geometry,
Like
bro.
GPS wouldn't work.
Buddy.
So you're a glue
It's not even
sniffer
science.
pretender clown.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you use virtual headsets to go to space. That's a glue
Well,
sniffing
what do you do?
pretender clown.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
let's
do
give him a
that.
fair shot though. Hey, Trans Cheeto, I got a question
what's
for
up?
you. Do you know of any time that anyone has ever directly measured the Earth and detected curvature? What was the method of when they did that?
You guys are
Coward, man.
It's science.
So, have you guys ever measured the curvature of your own balls?
Yeah, it's it's got that cashew curve to it. It's like that over ease. It really just keeps going for days. Have you?
He's gone again, and then he like bounced back in again.
I don't know. That was a legitimate question either. So.
What happens would,
useless. Sorry, you go.
oh my god. What happens would convince you guys of the Earth?
You just have to see it.
See it?
Yeah, you just have to see it.
Huh, right.
Well, yeah, let me retort with what I was actually going to say there, Jones. So I think you can see how utterly useless the notion of a globe and everything that's connected to it actually is. Because if you dropped any piece of technology whatsoever to a primitive people that didn't even have a technology, given enough time, they'd probably work out what it did, except for a globe. A globe they could just never put into practical use anywhere unless you spent the education system length of indoctrinating them into an ideology. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're saying that the globe is going to have some lacking of explanatory power, regardless of if
Well,
that's
it's
true or
lack
not.
of functional like anything, So like, tell me one way that you've ever used a globe that sits on your teacher's desk or whatever, and actually used it in life. Like, you don't use it to navigate, you don't use it to plot true distance. It doesn't even tell you the true scale of things, and they admit that every time they show you a globe. It smears things out
you
of
already know this.
proportion just to fit on itself. So it's like it's a useless thing, literally.
It's a
the
novelty.
definition of a
You
useless
already know
thing.
this.
It's a
I'm
learning
sure you
tool.
already know this, but actually, the globe, in terms of scale, actually is to scale. Right. That's one of the
Is it
primary
really?
benefits of having a globe is that when we look at like flat Earth projections, they're actually exactly that. They're projections. So if we look between different longitudes and different latitudes, the lines are going to be inconsistent, whereas in a globe they're going to be consistent. Right. So we can say, and this is just like an arbitrary number, 1,000,000 miles or whatever is going to be like 1 inch of on a globe. Whereas we can't really do that on a projection for a flat Earth, which is fine. Like, it's no big deal.
What? How's that work?
These are all derivative arguments. Can we not waste time with derivative arguments? Like, let's just go right to the meat and potatoes. Like the meat.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes
Skip the
is the
carby
wrong.
potatoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Orion, you
this
do know this is
This
Ham's
is
sucking
this is
out, eh?
Han. He's just come back recycled as Mr. Jones. So it's the same guy that we just kicked out. We do not need to entertain him anymore tonight. And Mr. Jones ran away. Oh. Sorry, he already got kicked out once. I didn't kick him out again. He ran when he got exposed. Same guy doing the same crap.
Well, I'd like to actually put what I said into practice, give a globe to a primitive people, see if they could work out what it is, and then see their reaction when I told them what it is. And they go, "You tell me the world is that? What? I just learned English and now I know what?"
Don't forget, guys. Technically, this is mental therapy, and we are the therapist. Technically speaking, because they do technically have mental illness. Like seeing, not being able, like, technically saying that you cannot trust your eyes, but not having a logical reason to say you cannot trust your eyes in regards to something, falls under the category of mental illness.
It's not Sunday yet, but I have made that argument about there being an uncontacted people possibly past Antarctica. Maybe they don't want the retardation spreading, because if we make contact with them, we'll have to tell them the world's a ball, and then they'll be screwed.
And you know what? It requires a container.
Yeah, because you want to contain the CO2 in the container.
What
Yes.
are you containing?
Yeah, and you can probably shake the container and hear it wiggle around inside because you turn it into a liquid because it's under so much pressure.
Okay, good. Yeah, and?
Well, it's no longer a gas. It's now a fucking liquid.
Isn't that cool? If you compress it enough, it becomes a liquid. What's wrong with that?
It's not a gas anymore. It's a liquid, and therefore you can weigh it. You can't weigh gases. You can weigh liquids.
Exactly. For all you know, that extra weight is coming from the liquid pressing down.
So it
Quote,
magically loses its mass when it becomes a gas? Are you retarded?
Yeah, because it starts pushing in every direction, and it's no longer pushing down.
Dude.
If it's pushing in every direction, it's not pushing a whole lot down, is it?
I want you to
That's why
meditate
when you
on that
put it in a
before we go
container,
any
when
forward.
you put it in a container under pressure, you can buy your 5 pounds of gas. You can do it with propane. You can say, I got a 20-pound tank here. I want my 20 pounds of propane. And they put it in a tank under pressure, and you can shake it, and it wiggles around like liquid. And you go, yeah, it's pretty full.
So what?
It's no longer a fucking gas twonger.
Of course it is.
No,
You
Twonger's
believe
right.
whatever you want to believe. You're just an idiot.
Plum Bob, I hear what you're saying, but CO2, for instance, is what we were talking about. Is not liquid at 70 degrees Fahrenheit or normal temperatures. But you're right about propane, right? That's why they call it LP, liquid propane.
No kidding. Put gases under pressure, they turn into liquid.
Well, they do some do under certain.
You're not going to weigh carbon dioxide.
Why do they magically gain mass when they become a
You
liquid?
put it in a container and compress it.
Think
Yes,
about that,
Plum
dude.
Bob.
Nothing.
Plum Bob,
Nothing has mass.
You're actually
Oh my
wrong there,
God.
buddy.
You gotta
I hear
slow
you,
down.
Plum Bob, but you're actually wrong there. A full CO2 tank weighs more than when it's empty. It's a fact. It really is.
Because it's turned
not
into
liquid.
a liquid. You've got it
Google
under
it.
pressure. It weighs
Google it.
more.
So you're
When it's
putting
full.
mass in there. So so gas has mass. If you put gas in the tank, the mass goes up. It has mass.
No, it doesn't. Gas does not have mass.
Yeah,
We got there.
have a
We got there,
container
guys.
No, gas doesn't have
volume
mass.
or mass. The mass is the
Gas
volume, the
doesn't have
amount.
mass. Gas
Correct.
does not have mass.
Hang
Right.
on, there's
Only a
an
container
elephant.
has mass. The
There's
container can be filled
an
to a
elephant.
certain extent. That would be the mass or the volume in the fucking container. Other than that, your air has no mass or volume.
Hang on, there's an elephant in the room. Twonger, what's the definition of mass, sir? Just so you know, we're all on the same page.
Well, you give me a definition, and I'll see if I agree with it.
I'm asking you, what is mass? Because you're asserting that it has mass, so you must know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it?
Take up subspace.
Take up subspace?
It takes up space.
So something that takes up space is mass or has mass?
We didn't ask you what it does. We didn't ask you what it does. We asked you what it is.
All right. Well, that's my definition. What's yours?
That doesn't make any sense.
What's
dude.
yours, Mick?
I don't have one, dude.
Okay, then shut up. Don't ask me what mine is if you don't have one.
For a tree is it
because I
takes
know
up space.
Because I know a handful of them that contradict or they don't seem to align with each other, right? Substance, something like what you're talking about. When you have something that's substantial, it occupies space, therefore it has mass. But there's another one. It's a resistance to acceleration. This abstract notion of resistance to acceleration. What is that? Is that a little miniature billiard ball? An atom is resistance to acceleration.
He
So
had no
resistance to
idea.
acceleration, this abstract property is no longer a little billiard ball. Like what?
You won't know.
What
You're
is
talking.
it?
You're talking to a retard.
I know.
Shut your bitch ass
I know.
up, T-Dub.
No, you are retarded, Twonger. Because this is like the 5th time you and I have spoken, right? And each time You're
Dude,
kind of left.
no,
You're left.
you just want
Yeah,
to
he's
call me
a
retarded.
button if you fuck with pretender
You're
clown.
fucking chasing your own tail right now, dude.
I'm not chasing your own tail. I'm chasing your
Yeah,
ass.
right.
Because
You guys,
you're the one making a
Not
claim,
working.
you're asserting this, that, the other thing. Yet you can't actually define the terms in your claim. So I'm holding your feet to the fire. Right? You kind of got off scot-free last time we spoke because you said there are innumerable reasons why we live on a ball. Yet we ran through the first 2 or 3 collectively in this room and demonstrated that neither of them were exclusive to the ball. And then the conversation went off the rails. Someone else cut in, whatever, and it never ended. So you kind of got a pass there, but don't you bet your ass I remember that. Right? So this time, you're the one making the claim about mass. So we're gonna actually get to the end of that. So what is
Yeah. So don't make up your own definition for terms in physics.
I don't
Just
have
give
to, dude.
give
I
the
don't
actual
have,
definition.
No, I don't.
You do have to here. You're gonna do as you're fucking told, young man.
I'll just bow out.
How about this, Ben? How about
I'll
you
just
pick
bow
one?
out, brother. That's all.
Right. Okay. So you concede that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Thank you.
No, I know what I'm talking about. I'll just concede. I don't need to. I don't need to commit anything more than I want.
All right. You believe what you want.
He's got nothing, knows nothing, and learnt nothing.
I was hoping we'd get to the point in the conversation where he answers how a black hole has virtually quote unquote infinite mass, not exactly, but approaching it depending on the size, yet it has no substance. And I was hoping he was going to go for the mass is equal to number of particles in an area, or contingent on the number of particles in a small area. I was waiting for that. But, he pivoted, so that's fine.
I can take him off mute if you want. If you want more of this crap.
Oh, is he on mute?
Yeah, I put him on mute.
Yeah.
You want me to take him off? Do you want to talk to him again?
I mean, I don't want to like piss off the entire room there, but I like to see these to their conclusion when they happen there.
Hey, Twonger, you've been asked a question, and we expect an answer, and not a long-winded thing that takes us off into another area. So, give your answer.
Well, my answer is I don't owe Mick anything, and I don't know you anything either, Plum Bob. So you can put me on mute and talk all the shit you want, bro. I don't give a rat's ass about your opinion.
Oh, this is not about opinions, dude. We're talking substance here. You have a claim, can't support it. Okay. It's not about,
He's got nothing.
Like, come on
to the next, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder whether this guy should even be in this room. Doesn't sound like he's of age.
Well, he comes here, I'm going to say, every second day, because I think he gets kicked a lot.
Yeah.
And it's the same crap all the time. There's nothing new. We're not learning anything from him. And he is not.
Is that right? 60 minutes, 60 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. You got it. Yeah, because it was all base 60. It was all nice and simple and easy to do back in the day when it was all done by hand.
So, what's with all the satellite images? Is that like one big conspiracy, or?
Satellites can take pictures. There's things that are up above our head. I don't know what the issue is there.
Well, what are they taking pictures of?
No, satellite can take pictures of squared images, but they stitch them together into a spherical object.
Why would they do that?
To make a globe.
Because they want us to make us to believe that the Earth is round.
Why?
See, the globe that you believe in exists above your head in the celestial sphere. That's where it comes from. It
Okay.
comes from measuring the Earth flat, mapping the known lands, the known waterways into the celestial sphere. That's where all our maps come from. We have two
So,
celestial spheres. We have a northern celestial sphere and a southern celestial sphere. The reason for that is that we have different star maps in the sky, different sets of stars in the north than we do in the south, and we map the world that we know of, the known lands, the known waterways are all mapped into the stars above your head in the celestial sphere. That's your globe.
did you
And
ever
that's
think
like
that that's because you're on a different part of the globe, so you're seeing different parts of space?
that's why you see different stars, yeah, because you move somewhere away. Do you know what the definition of the equator is? Do you?
Yeah, it's that line that goes through Earth. Yeah,
Yeah, no. That's not the
that's that
definition of
big
the
line that goes through
equator.
the middle.
No, the equator is the minimum elevation angle to Polaris. If you were to walk away from the North Star and you keep walking away, keep going back even a little bit more, eventually it'll be on the horizon. It'll be so little beyond the horizon. When the North Star, Polaris, is on the horizon, you're at the equator.
Oh, okay. Is that where I fall off?
No, you're at the equator. You can keep going. You just won't see Polaris anymore.
Oh, so at what point do I just kind of fall off the Earth since it's
Who
flat?
said anything?
No
Who
idea.
said
Nobody
anything
said
about?
anything about an edge or anything. Nobody said anything about falling off. That's stupid.
Oh, so it just goes on forever.
Never said
Who
that
knows,
either.
man?
That's just stupid.
So where does
It's a
it end?
possibility, but we don't know.
Why does it?
Don't
Why
know.
does it have
We
to end?
only know.
Who knows?
We only know the known lands that are mapped. The known lands that are mapped into the celestial spheres, the known waterways that are mapped into the celestial spheres. That's all that we
I
know.
have a question,
That's all that we
guys.
know of. So if there's any
Okay,
more, that would be new
if
news, and we don't have it.
sailed to the edge of the world, would we hit a glass wall similar to the Truman Show?
Did you hear what Plum Bob just said about no one knows? But why would you
didn't
ask a
listen.
question
You
about?
didn't listen to
How would we
didn't
not
listen
know?
to
I
a
did
goddamn
listen,
thing.
but I'm saying, like, if you had unlimited fuel, unlimited resources of food to sail on a journey and to go as far as possible on a
So you're
ship,
asking a
would you
knowledge
hit a glass
question.
wall?
You're asking a knowledge question.
Based on an unknown question, yeah. A lot of things are unknown. Cancer, a cure to cancer is unknown. It doesn't stop us from creating a cure or researching a cure for cancer,
But you don't
does
have
it?
one. So that's a
Yeah, but
really
that's what
bad
we're getting
analogy.
to. We get closer to solving cancer all the time and treating cancer. Now,
Okay,
why is it so
what's that
difficult
got
for
to do with?
you to get closer to treating the flat Earth?
Okay, what's that got to do with not knowing where it extends to?
Wait, so what's the purpose of the United States
They
acquiring the
muted
Panama
me.
Canal to
They
connect the
literally
two
muted
seas?
me for that.
Okay, no, I was trying to
Cowards.
ask you a question and you kept on speaking over the top of me. I said, what's
You're a
the
coward.
analogy?
I'm going. Goodbye.
Good, because you can't even talk to anyone.
Golly.
You guys aren't exactly easy to talk to, man.
It was a very simple question.
Well, you're saying that, but you are the one that kept on shouting out, "Where's the edge? Where's the edge? Where's the edge?" And you're telling us that we're not easy to talk to. You're the one that's throwing shit
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I
at
wasn't
people's faces and
shouting or
speaking over
anything.
the top of me.
Bertram, you weren't even listening to what Plum Bob said when he explained, do you know what the horizon is? Or, I'm sorry, the equator is. He explained it, and then you went straight for what is the edge and falling off.
Exactly.
You weren't even listening.
We're the difficult ones to talk to, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't listening and understanding at all.
Hey, Bertram, what's the equator?
It's that line.
Oh, boy.
It's that line. You got the north of the equator, you got the south of the equator.
What did Plum Bob tell you what the equator was?
I remember. He used a lot of words that were pretty obscure that not a lot of people know.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's this whole tactic that these conspiracies use. They just use like obscure words in the dictionary.
What obscure word did he use that you didn't understand?
I don't know. I didn't care to remember it because I didn't understand it.
Bertram, I'll tell you once more, these are not obscure words. The equator is the minimum elevation angle to Polaris. When you move away from Polaris, it gets lower and
What's
lower
Polaris?
to
I
the
don't even know what that
horizon.
is.
I added something so that you could say that. That's all you did.
I tried to provide you the video.
I'm not talking about the video. That's already over.